I ain't gonna lie. I seen the headline and I went straight to my computer. Breaking news right out of New York, though. CNN just cut in with something nobody saw coming. Psych. New York Attorney General Letitia James has been indicted by a federal grand jury. Yeah, you heard that right. The same woman who said no one is above the law is now facing mortgage fraud charges herself. So let's run it.
Senator, I'm going to ask you to stand by for me for just 1 second. And I would like to come back to the senator to get her to react to this immediately. But we do need to get to this breaking news out of the White House with Kristen Holmes. Kristen, I understand we have some legal breaking news.
Yeah, we have just learned that New York Attorney General Letitia James, who obviously brought the charges and won against President Donald Trump, has just been indicted by the Department of Justice. This was a case that President Trump wanted to be brought. It's a mortgage fraud case, and it's also what led to the leaving of the U.S. Attorney in the Eastern District of Virginia. Eric.
Wow. CNN had to drop everything to confirm this indictment live. That alone tells you how big this actually is. But what makes it hit harder? The irony. Because remember what she once said? And that's the part that stings, because her own words are about to haunt her.
My message is simple. No matter how powerful you are, no matter how much money you think you may have, no one is above the law. And it is my responsibility and my duty and my job to enforce it. The law is both powerful and fragile, and today in court, we will prove our case. I thank you all for being here, and again, justice will prevail. Thank you. My message is simple.
They weaponized that phrase against Trump, ran it nonstop in the campaign, used it as her brand. And now it circles back, because apparently she thought she was above the law when it came to her own finances. But I want you to watch how our allies in the media try to spin it once reality actually sets in.
To my colleagues here at MSNBC, this bouncing ball is like the fastest bouncing ball ever. We've been monitoring this ever since we reported that a senior supervisor concluded there was no probable cause to bring this case to a grand jury, one of the lowest thresholds the Department of Justice has to meet. And instead, Lindsay Halligan, the interim U.S. attorney we heard today, had presented the evidence that she believes could lead to indicting Letitia James today in a courtroom in Alexandria. We now have multiple sources telling us that Halligan presented this evidence, and we are now waiting, as our prosecutors in the Eastern District, to hear if the grand jury has decided to agree with those charges of mortgage fraud involving the New York Attorney General.
Carol, if you don't know the answers to any of these questions, just brush me off here. But
womp, 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 man. Notice the tone there? MSNBC sounds shook. You know, they're not sure whether to defend her or distance themselves. They can't outright bury it because the documents exist. And those documents are where the story really cracks open. But before we get to that, I want to read a few of these comments, because these comments are ruthless today. That's the least of what James has illegally conspired to do and has done. And as an AG, she should be held at a much higher standard for any defense, proof of excuse she proffers, and any legal charges she faces. You cannot be an officer of the court prosecuting people while simultaneously breaking the law in your personal life, much less in a professional capacity. She is the typology of scurrilous Soros operatives. And yeah, apologize on the reading. But then we got this, stress eating Letitia. And then, of course, this always pops up. Remind Letitia James and every Democrat who is melting down that Tish James said of what she said last year, no one is above the law. Boom. Now, let's go pull those receipts, because the paperwork, like I said, it don't lie. Here we go. Here we go. Let me see if I can click on one at a time. Maybe I can do this. Let's zoom that out. Well, now let's move this over. I mean, now that don't make it any better. I guess it was best just having it like this, huh? Anywho, this is where the fraud charges come in. Allegations that she falsified records claiming her late father as her husband on loan papers. Was she a I don't know. I was going to say a Brisson, but that ain't definitely. Anywho, that's not just sloppy. That's deliberate misrepresentation. Prosecutors say she lied about a company status too, to secure better terms. Regular people go to jail for that. They do. She thought her title would shield her, apparently. That's what I'm getting at from it. And a reaction from Congress? The reaction from Congress, rather, they're not pulling any punches.
Congressman, I just want to do some breaking news right now. CBS and others are reporting New York Attorney General Letitia James just indicted on fraud charges by a federal grand jury in the Eastern District of Virginia on Thursday, October, that's today. Sources indicate that the charges are related to bank and mortgage fraud. There you go. Breaking a little news for you, my friend Letitia James, just indicted. Your thoughts, your first reaction?
Those who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. That's the first reaction I got. Number two, you can't do what she did, what she's accused of doing. What she's accused is lying on mortgage applications. You just can't do it. And considering the fact that she launched one of the most political and insane civil prosecutions against an American, let alone President Trump, saying that Mar-a-Lago is valued at $18 million. I mean, that's just stupid. The
hypocrisy of it, really. And a lot of people on the left are already on social media saying, this is retaliatory action by Trump. BS, it's retaliatory. If you break the law, you're going to get held accountable, especially when you do things like trying to incarcerate Trump or bankrupt Trump simply because you don't like his politics, even though he didn't break the law. They were moving laws around to try and fit a prosecution while she was actually breaking the law herself. Do we finally see a perp walk, you think?
I don't know. I'll leave that up to them. One thing I know is nobody's above the law. That's what the left told us repeatedly over the last couple of years. And so you can't defraud on a mortgage application. That's the facts. Letitia James is accused of doing that. She'll have her day in court, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, that reaction nails it. You can't swing the hammer at Trump every day and expect nobody to look in your own backyard. When you live in a glass house, don't throw stones. And James didn't just throw them. She built a career on it. And the little piggy couldn't blow that one down. Oh, well, it's getting blown down right now. Anyhow, and here's where it gets a bit eerie, because someone actually called this out last year.
Just say this to Big Tish James, the New York Attorney General. I dare you to try to continue your lawfare against President Trump in his second term, because listen here, sweetheart, we're not messing around this time, and we will put your fat ass in prison for conspiracy against rights. And I promise you that. So think long and hard before you want to violate President Trump's constitutional rights or any other American's constitutional rights. It's not going to happen again.
We've been warning people on the show, Mike. This isn't the same Trump administration. Stop messing around. Don't rig elections. Don't illegally vote. Don't try the funny business, because we know the team this time, and they are not effing around.
Just say this to Big Tish James, the New York Attorney General.
Yeah. And get this. Mike Davis called it last year. He literally told her, you're going to be put in prison. Everybody laughed him off then on the left, right? But who's laughing right now? And now the big question is, what happens next with these charges, huh?
Representing our respective states, stand up and enforce the rule of law. The President of these United States is not above the law.
No matter how rich, powerful, or politically connected you are, everyone must play by the same rules.
Please sue him for us.
Oh, we're going to definitely sue him. We're going to be a real pain in the
Yeah, I remember this.
And now the Trump Justice Department may be a pain in her you-know-what. The Angle has obtained shocking allegations leveled by the Trump administration against New York Attorney General Letitia James. The Federal Housing Finance Agency has sent a criminal referral to the DOJ accusing James of mortgage fraud. In a letter to Attorney General Pam Bondi, Director Bill Pulte says James appears to have falsified records in order to meet certain lending requirements and receive favorable loan terms. He cited a property in Virginia that she's allegedly claimed as her principal residence and a property in New York that she claimed as a 4-unit structure instead of the required, instead of a 5, which Pulte says means she was able to get a different type.
Now, these are not light charges. We're talking about mortgage fraud, falsifying federal records, potential prison time. If it were you and me, we wouldn't even be on bail. Now it's time. It's her turn right now to fight for the freedom of freedom. So let's recap. The AG who built her entire brand around destroying Trump just got indicted herself on fraud. CNN cut it, had to cut it live. MSNBC. It's over there scrambling documents. Just don't lie. And the receipts are public. It's political karma in real time, which is what I want you to put in the comment section if you made it to the end. Team Think. Put political karma. Y'all be safe. Please go check out our friend today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Peace.